Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Ty Karlik and I'm here to give a little information about my motivations and intentions behind a retreat that I'm co-hosting this November from November 23rd to November 29th here in the south of Taiwan, Tainan, Taiwan, with my partner, Dr. Tony Liu, and share some of my story for those who would potentially be interested in this type of offering. So I did a 5-card pull just now from the Sacred Medicine deck, and I asked about our retreat, and I thought that the cards that came up were pretty enlightening and insightful, so I wanted to share them with you. The first card I pulled is the Sage Stick, which represents cleansing. Now here in Taiwan, I don't burn sage. We have other herbs, leaves, and incense that are indigenous to the land here. But a big part of my daily practice and part of the reason that I want to hold this retreat is to collectively cleanse our energy. The last 5 years have been really intense for the Asian American community, particularly for Asian American women, as we know that this kind of intersectionality naturally brings difficulty and marginalization and alienation. So a huge part of my motivation is for us to collectively cleanse out any of that negative or stagnant energy that we're still carrying with us at this time. Another card that came forth was the eagle feather, and this says to soar. Now the eagle feather is an item that gives an individual power. It also is used in combination with herbs and smoke, and it infuses the receiver with good energy. Oftentimes it's something that's bestowed by an elder or somebody who's more senior or advanced than you in the spiritual path that you're walking. And so that would also be something that we would definitely be calling in, is just billowing the smoke with one another and giving power and life to one another at this time. Now this one I got really excited about because I pulled strawberries for love, and strawberries represent, and you can see here, they look like little hearts. They represent opening the heart, purifying the heart, and I think that that's something that we could all use at this time. I certainly could. And I also really loved that I pulled this card because strawberries are fruits of the earth, and Taiwan is called a fruit kingdom for a reason. There's so many delicious, juicy fruits here to eat as a result of the subtropical climate here, and so I'm excited to eat those fruits with you, share those fruits with you. Just a little story. Recently I went and got a big tattoo, a Japanese Taiwanese style tattoo on the side of my leg by my tattoo artist friends that live nearby here. They're a husband and wife couple, and they tattoo with a lot of intentionality and a lot of consciousness. They have an altar full of Taoist gods that they believe in. They burn incense and they both bow before they tattoo their clients. And so before I left, after sitting through this 11-hour tattoo session, they actually sent me home with a bag full of mangoes, which is a very Taiwanese thing to do. When you're close to people, friends or family, they'll send you home with a bag full of fruit, oftentimes fruit that they grew themselves. So this couple has a mango tree in their front yard, and it's been grown with a lot of care. And I actually came down with a cold shortly after I got that tattoo, and I ate the mango that they gave me and not only was it good for me and helped me to recover because it has so much vitamin C, but I could also feel the love coming through. This came from my community. This came from my people. They want me to recover. They've grown it with love. They've gifted it to me with love. And so that in itself has so much healing property. You can also see here, this is what mango growing looks like here in Taiwan. People, when they grow mangoes, they wrap them in order to protect them from bugs and outside elements that would be deleterious to their growth. So things here are grown with a lot of love. Pineapples, here's a pineapple grower. Pineapple here is delicious, as well as dragon fruit, one of my favorite things to eat here. Okay, the next card that I pulled, number 4 of the 5, is this bear. Winter solstice, hibernation. And interestingly, I scheduled in napping to this retreat because rest is so very important. I'm a big fan of the work of the woman who does everything related to the nap ministry, women of color, napping, resting, just because. Not to achieve some aim, not to become more productive ultimately, napping because it's our birthright to be rested. So I love that because it's so very important and we forget about it so much. Also, I love the bear because it holds a lot of power in Japanese society, culture, and folklore. And this book, which is very sacred to me, Women Who Run with the Wolves, a book that I've read time and time again and come back to repeatedly for particular stories, talks about the spirit bear. And I just want to share a little bit of an excerpt from this book because I love so much the function that the bear has in Japanese society and how she explains it. What does the symbol of bear, as opposed to fox or badger or quetzal, teach us about dealing with the angry self? To the ancients, bear symbolized resurrection. The creature goes to sleep for a long time. Its heartbeat decreases to almost nothing. The male often impregnates the female right before hibernation, but miraculously, the egg and sperm do not unite right away. They float separately in her uterine broth until much later. Near the end of hibernation, the egg and sperm unite and cell division begins, so that the cubs will be born in the spring when the mother is awakening, just in time to care for and teach her new offspring, not only by reason of awakening from hibernation as though from death, but much more so because the she-bear awakens with new young. This creature is a profound metaphor for our lives, for return and increase coming from something that seemed deadened. Okay, so it's believed that the bear can speak directly to the gods. The crescent moon bear is considered a sacred being, one who was given the white mark on his throat by the Buddhist goddess Guanyin, whose emblem is a crescent moon. Guanyin is the goddess of deep compassion, and the bear is her emissary. Okay, so the bear, just like it represents that kind of spirit animal in Japanese folklore, in Chinese folklore, oftentimes it might be a tiger. And so Tony at this retreat, her specialization is in untigering and understanding the role of the tiger in oneself and in Chinese society, Chinese diasporic individuals. So we'll be talking about these types of animals during this retreat as well. The last card I pulled from the Sacred Medicine deck is the Jingle Dress, which represents miracles. And this particular story is about a girl who was very ill with the plague during 1918 and whose father envisioned women dressing like this and dancing around and her miraculously being healed. Anybody who knows me personally knows that I have a miraculous story of recovery from 2020 when I had a very serious bout of COVID and long COVID and upheaval and medical gaslighting, going to medical doctors from oncologists, endocrinologists, any kind of specialist, neurologist, you name it, not getting answers. Ultimately, I had 5 surgeries, including an appendectomy and a cancerous tumor that was discovered in my body. I was not sure if I was going to die from said cancer. I was bedridden and immobile for a couple of years, for the most part, outside of very gentle walking. And it is only through community that I was able to heal from that illness. It is not something that you can do by yourself. Healing from something like that is not something that you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps from and just move on. So I really wanted to share that with all of you. Healing is possible. And while it was a trial and error process, and not everybody had my best interest at heart along that healing journey, I followed my intuition, and eventually I was able to find the right healers that opened up within me, the medicine woman in me, the healer in me. And I definitely feel like I have the right supports in place at this point in time in my life. I'm doing excellent. I'm dragon boat racing in Taiwan. I have a full and vibrant life, and I would never have imagined that was possible 2-3 years ago if you had asked me. I thought I was going to be Frida Kahlo style, laying in a bed, drawing art, and being generally miserable if I had a life that was remaining. So I'm extremely grateful for that community help that brought me to wellness. Okay, and another card I pulled, one card from a different deck, this is the Archetypes deck, is the Shapeshifter. And I thought that that was really important and relevant because this retreat is taking place in Taiwan. And Taiwan is a place that has a very shape-shifting identity. It's been colonized repeatedly over the last centuries, whether by the Dutch, by the Japanese, by the Chinese, then gaining its independence, now constantly being bullied and threatened by the CCP, having this liminal status, being called a renegade province. So Taiwan, over its history, has had to shapeshift so many times in order to remain relevant, to maintain its sovereignty, and it's a survival mechanism for Taiwan, and I would say for Taiwanese people as well, is also shape-shifting, a survival mechanism for Taiwanese Americans. We oftentimes speak a lot of languages, just like Taiwanese people. We can code switch and we can culture switch in whatever situation we need to in order to survive. And I think that this is also the story of so many Asian Americans, and it's a real gift. The ability to shapeshift is a gift. In fact, I think it's a superpower. And Asian Americans have been doing it throughout the history of America. And whether it's through white adjacency, whether it's through high achievement in academic spaces or in professional spaces, we know what we need to do to get things done, to survive, to thrive, to achieve our goals. But the flip side of that is that sometimes we, our core self, our authentic self, gets lost in all of that because we have to be so chameleon-like in the world to survive. And so I think that a huge focus of mine in my life has been to really identify and solidify that core self. And this is the work that we'll be doing at this retreat as well, is identifying, solidifying, fortifying, and being proud of who we are authentically without having to shapeshift. We can shapeshift, but we don't have to in order to survive and get by. Lastly, I wanted to share, this is a book that I wrote, Shanghai Seduction. This is another huge reason behind the retreat happening. Both Tony and I have written books that were very dear to our hearts and put them out in the world. This is a 350-page novel that I wrote over the course of 7 years. It started from the academic research around an MA thesis and evolved into a piece of creative nonfiction because I thought the story was so powerful. I was tired of white men being the ones who told stories of sexy cosmopolitan Asian cities. I was in Shanghai and I was seeing cyberpunk throughout my life. Cyberpunk, movies like Blade Runner, Ridley Scott, these were the people, Quentin Tarantino, that told the stories of sexy Asian cities or Asian culture. They're the ones that get to make Asia sexy. I wanted to make Asia sexy, damn it, as an Asian female. And so I released this book in 2019 in Los Angeles, which is the time and the place that Blade Runner, the movie, happens. So that was my reclamation of our stories. And lastly, we will be in Tainan in November. If any of this interests you, if any of this speaks to you, reach out to me or to Tony. We would love to have you. We are actively doing fundraising for people who may be facing financial difficulty that would like to come but are not able to meet the price that we've set to cover our base costs. The goal of this retreat is not to maximize profit, but it is to fairly compensate the people that are involved with the production of it, including local collaborators. But yes, we are actively fundraising so that we can alleviate any burden or cost that is outside of the capacity of some people that might want to attend. So contact us if you have questions, and we would love for you to come. We would love to see if you're a good fit, if this speaks to you, and sending you lots of love from Tainan. Hope to see you there. Bye-bye.